Hi, everyone.
Get some comments today. You should get some comments about that shirt.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
What shirt is it? Hi, everyone. This is Norman Fushnik here.
What are you showing your body like that, bro? Fuck.
What
It's
shirt
beautiful.
The body
Tottenham. Spurs, mate.
Negative football. Negative football.
Not my fault. You can't play. You can't play.
Look already. You got one
See?
already.
There we go.
Ice surfing is not Indian time, it's actually Australian time. So the time that's whatever you've got on there, which I think is 3:30 p.m. in India. Barama Rani says he can't wait for it to start.
We're here.
We're here. Now,
yes, we are.
A lot's happened in a week. We've had a few things going. We've had Graham Thorpe, the English, sorry, he's actually about to coach Afghanistan. Is fallen gravely ill.
What is wrong with him? Like, they haven't said exactly what's wrong with him. Do we know?
Yeah, what's the goss?
Well, he's 52. He looks super fit to me. I'd say it's probably heart related, but we're not hearing about what is going on. It just seems a lot of these 50-year-old cricketers, well, including Shane Warne, of course, and even Ryan Campbell. Yeah, he recovered. He's out.
Did Ryan Campbell recover? Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I only heard about.
Says hi. Where is your Liverpool shirt, Giuseppe?
He's hiding it away.
I actually had thought about wearing it tonight. Don't worry about that.
Spurs.
So we've got a situation, guys, where there's a lot been happening in cricket. Obviously, the IPL has progressed. The women's tournament's gone on a few yards as well. There's a question here already about Chris Lynn's going to go next. He's moved on from Brisbane Heat. Heat
haven't re-signed him.
Who?
Well, the Heat haven't re-signed him, but I don't think they can officially sign players yet.
Right.
They cannot.
Do you think anyone really wants Chris Lynn now?
Yeah.
The baby
he's going to be able to field, mate. He can bat, but he can't field anymore.
Well, that's an issue. It is.
Yeah,
he can't. He can't throw, so he's got to stay in the infield, which, that's fair enough. You still have players. He can still throw.
He has to dive too. He can't dive on that shoulder, can he? Because it pops out, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
But who's to criticise? It never affected George.
Yeah, but he can dive one side.
Yeah, that's
now,
right.
Munchie's here from England.
Hey, Munchie. We missed you last week, Munchie.
Yeah,
where were you?
Last week.
I got Oliver Lutkin saying, is the Sri Lankan tour cancelled due to the economic crisis? Oh boy, that's really gotten bad.
What's going on there, Norm? You're our Sri Lankan.
Okay. All right.
You're our Sri Lankan correspondents because you like those. You have a penchant for those type of women. So what's going on, Norman?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, the Rajapaksa family, both the brother and the former leader, who have been the prime minister and the president now yet again. They regained power, and they've basically swindled money. They've abused their powers. They've built unnecessarily. They've loaned unnecessarily, and basically they've fallen into an economic crisis where they have got no foreign reserves at all. They're down to a situation where they can't even afford to buy petrol, diesel, rice, staple food, bread for their own country. Now, they're a country that's got plentiful amounts of food that they grow naturally, but they're so geared towards a negative situation where their debt has spiraled. The Chinese have bought all of their ports, like Hambantota was their big colossus, but they couldn't get the repayments up, so the Chinese gobbled it. All their assets have been owned by overseas countries. They tried to do massive infrastructure without the cash in the first place. Now they're lending something like $3 billion off India and a further 600 million off, I think it's one of the monetary funds. That's just to survive. That's not to get ahead. That's just to survive with bread and rice and fuel. That means they're in dire financial trouble. These guys have actually ripped off billions, not unlike a North Korea or another country you can imagine, or an Ethiopian country or whatever, where money's been ripped off by the leader. This guy's done the same thing.
So the
Their
red
currency's
bastard-
tripled. Sorry, they've not tripled. It's divided by a third now. Our value has tripled. So we were going about 100 rupees. It's now 300 plus. It's heading for 500-600. It's just a mess. Economic
so it's
disaster.
time to go for a holiday.
Well, to go at the moment, thousands of protesters are fighting against the government, army, so to speak, that are trying to defend the leaders. Prime Minister Rajapaksa has left. He's actually had to disappear. His house was burnt. Remember that place? I think
Michael,
you and Harry, I think even Giuseppe, we walked past it. We went by tuk-tuk. The big job with all the arms.
No, remember we went to take a photo?
I got told off, remember?
Machine guns?
Yeah, yes.
That's his home, Temple Trees. That's been ransacked, burnt down. 10 leaders. In fact, Arjuna's brother, Prasanna Ranatunga, I think he's involved, the health minister. His house has been burnt down as well. They've burnt down so many people's places all over the country. The whole Rajapaksa home down south, their ancestral home's been ruined. They want him out of the country. But ironically, he's the prime minister. His brother, Gota, I think his name is the president. He's still in power, which is crazy. So one brother's disappeared, the other one's there. And it's basically like a Putin situation. You know how Putin became prime minister for a while he wasn't president? Same thing. Rajapaksa became prime minister while his brother became president. So it's the whole power.
Rajapaksa, he was in power when we were there, wasn't he?
Yes. Anyway, it's a mess.
So is there a possibility of a coup, like that army taking over or something like that? What's their army like?
Anything's possible, to be honest with you. It's a mess. Something's going to happen. They're going to state of emergency, a curfew. They can't go out at night. It's incredible.
Okay.
On top of course, the COVID situation, which ruined their tourism economy, and now this is further. You wouldn't go to Sri Lanka now, but it's rather unsafe.
But, now, so I've heard, Norm, that Sri Lanka is currently the only country that is actually taking in Russians, because there are Russians that are leaving Russia and going to foreign countries, and Sri Lanka is one of the only countries that is taking them in.
That's true. That's true. I mean, Munchie's saying the same thing happened with President Marcos in Philippines. He took billions out of the country. Disappeared.
And now it's
in fact, Ram's actually left. The Ram's left Philippines. He's now in Indonesia. Munchie.
Well, the Marcos, his son, is now gone for president again, and I think he's won the election in the Philippines. Well, like, really? You going back to that? Anyway, we're here to talk about cricket anyway.
Yeah, but how much
cricket and Tottenham.
So, okay, Aaron Singh wants to know, why did Lynn part ways with the Heat? I think he just needed a change, probably, more than anything else.
The Heat weren't signing him.
Yeah, it wasn't. They didn't sign him. From all reports out here in Brisbane tonight was that Ian Healy was saying he's the main. I think he does the recruitment for the Heat, and he was saying that it's time for a change, and the Heat were reliant on, if Lynn did bad, the Heat didn't do anything, which was true. So they decided to let's get a better squad and a more even squad rather than relying on one player to get us through. And we haven't made the finals for the last 5-6 years, I think, and that's been
since McCullum played.
Yeah, so I think it's a good move, definitely, for the Heat. Where Lynn ends up, I know he's playing in England this year. I think North Hampshire or somewhere like that. I think he's playing. But yeah, if he gets a BBL, I think he'll be more of a squad player, and he might go to Sydney or one of the Melbourne teams, I'd say.
But he still plays PSL. He still plays the Caribbean Super League. He's still
he obviously has he can play a spot somewhere in someone's squad, definitely. So whether or not someone's willing to take the risk, like he's good for 1 out of 3 games now, where he used to be 2 out of 3. So he's still got a spot there for someone. But
How
who?
old is Lynn?
He's only 32, so he's not very old.
He's young, yeah.
Yeah,
we've got
so
some comments here. Robert M. 99 saying, "Hey Norman Doofus, Babs gets Giuseppe. Since they don't have Flynn, who are they going to chase? Maybe Tim David."
The other thing was Kawaja came up tonight because he's left the Thunder this year, and he lives in Brisbane now. So I think he could be one to take his spot. Whether or not he's got a lot of time because Australians, he'll be in the Australian Test squad. You would think the way he's been playing. So how much time he has for BBL will, I don't know whether he'll have much time there at all to play for him. So, yeah, someone like, a younger up-and-coming player who can spend time with them. But you also need someone, I think they've already got a lot of young players, and they do need a senior player to bring them all together, because Pearson's the captain, who has been the captain for the last couple of years. He's still a youngish player in cricketing terms, so they still need another older head in there should he get injured or, need someone in there to push the game around where they need to.
But who would they bring in, George, do you think?
Well, that's obviously Kawaja. I don't know who's looking to move states as well, because they're not in a process to sign anyone yet. So there's, you're probably looking, like if they could get a Maxwell or someone like that with that experience to come in and just get these younger players in. But he's, I doubt he'd leave Melbourne, but you'd need that sort of player to, we've had McCullum up here. AB de Villiers came for a few games. Unfortunately, he had to go during COVID. He wasn't able to play many games up here. They had Morne Morgul as well, who lives up in Queensland now as well. So they've tried a few people, but they need to get someone who can play the whole season and see it out. So it'd be interesting to see who they do get.
Okay. Let's get before we go on, I've got some of the comments over. Is there an era of Chris Lynn, I guess this. Baramarani was commenting on Munchie's comment there. Marcos' son, BBM Bung Bung, will be the new president. There you go. Baram's telling us. Why is David Warner and Steve Smith not playing BBL? Well, that's a good question.
Well,
they haven't got time.
They're involved in the national setup.
That's right.
That's where the BBLs. I understand we want to have young players, but we do still want the best players to play when they can, surely.
Yeah.
When they can, but unfortunately, that's in the middle of our cricket season, isn't it? It
goes so long. If we were to congest it slightly, they could play, because Steve Smith was going to play last year in one of the BBL games, but he was told he couldn't play for some reason. Right
at the end, they was going to play, but they're playing over Christmas between generally between the second test and the third test. So, there's not a lot of time for them to come in.
Yeah, but imagine the young player who's got a Steve Smith in his side that comes in for one game. You can learn so much from an experienced player just by being around the change room for the day or two, if nothing else.
But it doesn't stop the teams from signing the players and having them in their squads and just being around the players. Yeah. Even though they're Australian players, they're obviously bound by what the Australian Cricket Board says and how many days they can play and so forth. But it doesn't stop them from, on their days off, coming in and being around the Thunder or whatever, whichever team, the Renegades down in Melbourne or, whoever it is, and being an influence on those younger players. And, they think, oh, well, Steve Smith's coming in today, I better, look good or do whatever so that they look good. So I think there's a role for everybody and everyone, but I think we do need to keep those younger players coming through, they being the main part of BBL, and those older players showing them the way a bit more.
Absolutely. Well, Munchie's been talking to Baram about a few things. It's about Banter, it's about how the way that the leadership of Philippines, and obviously with Sri Lanka going on, man, it's all around us for sure. So, do BBL teams have a fan base like they have for all teams? They do, don't they? But probably not as strong as IPL.
No, but
Yeah.
the fan base for AFL teams. And actually, that would be actually not a bad setup. Could you imagine if they did a BBL based on, say, not rugby league teams, but AFL teams or something like that?
Well, you still most of the BBL teams are, apart from Sydney and Melbourne, are one-team towns. So it's not as if Brisbane's got someone else to barrack for, unless you come from another place where you might be a Perth Scorchers fan or an Adelaide fan or whatever. It's only in Sydney and Melbourne where you've got to make a choice whether you're.
And with Sydney, because I'm from Sydney, it's either if you're north or south. Well, one's in the west and one's in the eastern suburbs. So, I think Norm would be an eastern suburbs supporter, you would think, correct?
Well, not for rugby league, of course. South Sydney,
Not for rugby league.
Sydney Stars,
and me, I'm more of a Thunder supporter. So I think Norm's a Sixers supporter. I think I'm more of a Thunder supporter.
Just quickly, did the Bunnies play last Thursday night?
I don't know. I don't think you'd call it playing. They turned up. That's about it.
The funny thing was they played a side that had 13 players, so they struggled.
Let's just move on. Thank you very much. Okay, now there has been a schedule released about not Liverpool. Let's get this right. Oliver Lucas is asking about what about Australia's schedule coming up.
Well,
the big thing is, of course, Australia playing India next February, March in India, just before the IPL.
They're going
they
up.
Played them at the end of the year. They played 3 or 4 ODIs or T20s.
Correct.
And it's almost like it's a warm up for India to prepare for the conditions here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Crazy.
The World Cup's a major point in October, November, but there's a whole host of things going on. We've got the West Indies, and I think it's South Africa coming over the summer.
Yeah, late after Christmas, after the T20 World Cup, they're going for the next 18 months, going up until the next Ashes tour. So they're going to be busy boys. They're going all over the place.
The next 12 months, they've only got April and May next year off.
Yeah, and half of them will be playing in the IPL.
Hey,
they'll be playing.
Do you think this must be one of the weakest African sides coming to Australia?
Probably.
Despite being second on the World Test Championship list.
Yeah, but I look at their side and there's no big names like we've seen in the past coming to Australia.
Yeah, they've still got some good players. Yeah, well, they've lost the Cock as well, and he's been doing all right.
Someone's lost their what?
You've lost it a long time ago. Don't worry about that. You can't find it under that stomach of yours.
I know. How true.
But yeah, no, I have to agree, Mike.
I just saw mine's all right.
Michael, you got your magnifying glass out again. I saw it. Now, but my voice is loud and clear. Giuseppe might need to speak a bit louder. That's I can hear everybody else though. All right. Now,
yeah, Giuseppe.
We're quite lucky. We've got both Munchie and Baramarani on. They're both on. Munchie said there's too much cricket players, especially fast bowlers, need a rest. He's right. Even fans need a rest. He's right. I mean, the IPL's tiring. 57 matches have gone past. Been bloody tiring.
And for us especially, we can't. Who's going to start midnight every night to watch a game? It's just, and plus there's only half a dozen bloody double headers where you can get watch a game earlier in the day. But surely they can condense that to a lot less time. Surely, which helps the players, helps the fans, helps everyone. really.
Well, we spoke about this before, that we think the IPL is going way too long. It's such a big season. It's almost like a football season, the length that it is.
They're playing 40 overs a day. Surely you can go nearly back-to-back games.
Oh, easily.
Against the tournament, surely.
Surely you can get half the time at least. You should be able to play double headers throughout the place. Whether it's they don't have to play them on the one ground. They can be in different parts of the country. It's a big bloody country, so surely they can. Then the fan base will come out. If they're playing one in the north, one in the south, or one in the east, one in the west, surely they'll fill out their the stadiums if that's an issue for them. But yeah, it's just a game a day is too much, too little.
I've actually seen games where there's not many people at the crowd. Is that because it's started? Yeah, like there's been a couple that I get in bed and watch it, 10:30. And there might be 200 people at the ground. Now, I don't know, it's maybe the size of the ground. It just looks like there's no one there.
Yeah, it's lost something. Okay, now Oliver Lutkins has got for me, after Finch, Warner, Smith, Maxwell was retired, Green can replace Maxwell. Green is consistent. Jason saying can replace Smith. I agree. Head or McDermott should replace Warner and Finch. That's pretty much right.
Yeah, that's about right. Except for Green and Maxwell, I'm not sure about Green and Maxwell. Like for like.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
But
you got to remember though, Green.
But
Green
Oliver's left out the Greek god Stoinis. What is he?
Oh, because he's Greek. Is that what we're talking about?
No, he's a cricketer. He's a good cricketer.
I think he's Greek first, cricket later.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Is he gay? He and Adam Zampa get really, really touchy-feely, those two.
You forget, we invented everything, Norm.
Yeah, Italians just perfected it.
Yeah, you guys perfected the bloody gayness.
Pompey, I remember Pompey had all these photos of the wall.
Anyone know what the Germans perfected? Hey, what did the Germans perfect?
With the Berlin Wall?
Fuck all. What?
I beg your pardon. All right, now let's
just start
with the IPL table. We've gone some 57 matches now. Gujarat have got them, so they've officially qualified. Lucknow's on 16; they're basically qualified. Rajasthan play Delhi Capitals tonight, and if they win, they're basically in. Then you got RCB that are fourth. Basically, if Delhi Capitals loses, I think it almost firms up the top four. Really,
I think so. It's pretty hard to see anyone else out of that top four coming in, really, because they're just beating each other in that middle of the pack. So no one's really made a good run to say that they're putting their hands up to get into that top four. And I think Lucknow were on top there for a couple of games, and they got absolutely flogged by the Giants last night. I think it was. They were all out for 80 odd and chasing 144. So, that mightn't do their confidence well, but there's still a long way to go. But that top four seems to be, if Delhi win tonight, Delhi lose tonight, I think it's pretty much all over.
So okay, who were the teams again? Michael Anastasia, who did you have? Who was your team? The Punjab, wasn't it? Punjab.
Yeah, mine are worried about next year, mate.
Yeah,
when you're there.
I think so.
Yeah, I think they're gone and buried, mate. Look, they're on 10. They're probably
their run rate's pretty shit though.
That's the only thing. So Delhi have got 3 games. Punjab Kings have got 3 games. That's the only thing that's probably saving them. But their run rate, it ain't too bad. It's in the pluses.
Yeah, but it's not as good as those top 4 teams though.
No. But the thing is that they're going to get as many wins, but their run rate's going to determine if they come 4th or 5th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steph, what was your team?
I'm a Rajasthan's Royals.
Well, you'd be sitting pretty. If they win tonight, they're in for sure.
Yeah, they're running.
They've got a good run rate too.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to arrange to get tops for Giuseppe for Rajasthan Royals. We'll get Michael a Punjab Kings one or a frilly pink one, whatever suits.
I like
And-
pink.
And then George, what are you again?
I was the Lucknow Giants.
That's right. Well, you're not very much. You may be super, but not a giant. I don't know.
You need a lot of luck now after your game on the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it doesn't
I've got
matter.
to write this down. I keep forgetting this, so I've got to write this down. So I'll
Just-
put it in our geek thing. So
Just making sure Liverpool didn't win was enough for me. You know that we did you a favour. We beat bloody City twice, and you still can't catch them.
Hang on.
Don't hang on me. We did.
Got a point.
Hang on,
Right.
Mr. Negative Football.
Doesn't matter, mate. If
But-
you can't beat it, you can't beat it. You're not good enough. Your coach was not good enough to put a plan in place to beat us.
I never thought I would say it, but I've never seen Tottenham be so negative and play
Mate,
like.
What do you expect from an Italian coach? Do you expect
There's no
anything
Italian
else from an
players in the
Italian
team,
coach?
mate.
Do
No
you
Italian
expect
players in the
anything
team.
else from an Italian coach? No. Defense. You know that. You've seen the Italian side for the last 30 years.
No, I wouldn't
Defense.
say. No, we did have some attacking sides. We
Yes,
did play.
well-
European champions,
won the
they
World
went-
Cup.
They didn't defend.
Yeah, but on
They
defense.
Yeah,
but-
we all-
Okay, guys, 1 second.
Hey,
Anastasia
He's not good.
Punjab, Giuseppe Rajasthan, George. I thought Harry was Lucknow. You reckon you're Lucknow?
No, I'm luck now. I picked it last week. Harry wasn't
Yeah, 'cause
here.
Oh,
me,
right.
me and George were the same. Then we swapped.
Yeah,
Right,
and you said
okay.
I had to
What
be
was
different.
Harry?
He
Yeah.
said he
Gujarat.
doesn't fucking know.
Yeah, he's a Malacca. Look for the Malacca side. You got one?
Yeah, that's right. Who's on the
Oh, I
bottom?
reckon
Mumbai.
Yeah, it can be the Mumbai Indians.
Mumbai. Okay, we'll give him Mumbai.
Yeah.
And I'll be Kolkata. All right. Okay. Harry's Mumbai. And mum for short. Okay, so Munchie says points matter in football, no prizes of possession. Here we go. He's being a bit radical. What
Yes,
was your
that's,
side again, Munchie? Who did you
That's
go for?
right.
Who did you go for? Munchie, I forgot who you go for.
Just because Liverpool had 60-something%, they still could only score one goal from a deflection. Lucky. And we scored a good goal. So what's that saying?
So Baramarani reckons the only Italian thing that is good is Lamborghini, which he can't spell.
it's Ferrari.
Ferrari's
What
are
about
better.
me? Hang on.
Hold
Arancini,
on.
carbonara,
Oh, here we go.
Pizza?
Lasagna.
pizza. Come on, we've got a few.
Calzone, arrabbiata.
Not very good builders, though. Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yeah.
Okay, Ashwin Kartik reckons Adam Zampa is a better bowler than Chahal. I don't think so. They're on par. Zampa should be in the test side, I still reckon.
Oh, I think Swetson's a better red ball bowler.
So Munchie's a Chelsea man, born in Chiswick, London, just down the road from Stamford Bridge and the Fuller's Brewery. There we are. Chelsea.
Well, Munchie's crying at the moment because they can't win for nuts.
I'm sorry, Munchie, but and here look.
You'd be lucky to come in the
Look,
top
there's
four the way
nuts.
you're going.
Look, nuts.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Munchie.
I mean, but Chelsea have lost their Russian bloody oligarch, haven't they? Too?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They were built on dirty money.
Dirty money, that's it.
Dirty.
Now they're gone to the LA Dodgers.
Yeah. That is so true.
Dodgies. I like that.
That is true. Definitely.
Actually, that is the best. That is a great quote.
All right, so we've finished 57 matches now. So Aaron finishes the Harry Maguire of cricket.
Yes.
funny.
Right.
You don't get that, do you, Norm? You don't even know who Harry Maguire is.
Yeah, I do. I understand. I think. Okay.
He's a Manchester United captain who can't get a game.
Right. So, Mark Rati, who is your favourite cricketer of all time? He's asking.
Australian or international?
Let's do
Doesn't
one
matter.
bat, one bowler. One bat, one bowler.
Okay. Batter has to be Bradman, and bowler, that guy Kochenek, he was pretty good, but no.
No, wide.
I'm wide. The bowl wasn't. Okay. All right. I'll say Bradman and probably Jeff Thompson. Harry? Oh, Harry's not here. Giuseppe?
Well,
Harry.
for me, I have to say Dean Jones and favourite
Did you say
bowler,
Tom Jones? I'm not talking about singing. Dean Jones.
Dean Jones, and my bowler would have to be probably Terry Alderman.
Oh, left field.
Oh.
That's left field.
Who?
Terry Alderman was fantastic. LBW
No.
King.
Yeah, the sweet king, mate.
Swing king. That's it.
George?
Well, I'm only going to go on people that I've seen, so I don't want to go people I haven't seen play. So I'm going to go for Greg Chappell, and as a fast bowler, Tomo. Used to watch him coming off the old greyhound track at the Gabba there. He used to be a couple of meters off the back there and come bloody thundering in, and the keeper's standing back at the other end of the bloody goal track. It was incredible watching him bowl. So yeah.
All right, Doofus. So what about you, Babs?
I'm going to choose two batsmen.
Ah,
They're both foreigners. They're both
He said
foreigners.
batsman bowl. What is this two batsmen?
Hang on. I'll choose a bowler as well. But Vivian Richards and Brian Lara. Now, the reason I chose Brian Lara there is he's the only bloke that I know that I've seen could tear spin bowlers apart and also medium paces and pace bowlers all over the park. Favourite bowler? I'm going to choose two as well.
Oh, bloody hell.
Oh,
Shane Warne is my all-time favourite spin bowler, and this is a one that you wouldn't believe. Malcolm Marshall.
But
Right.
he was a bloody good bowler. No.
yeah.
Well, you killed the your bowls are both dead, by the way.
Yeah, I know, but that's okay. They were pretty good when they were bowling.
True. All right. Munchie, Ashwin Kartik. Ha, brilliant. What's else Ashwin Kartik made the name like? Being Manchester United is a pain. We have to play Europa League. Oh, right.
If you're lucky, they're playing Europa League. They'll be
We haven't
playing
asked
the
Munchie, but he's putting
conference.
his 2 cents worth in. Munchie's putting his 2 cents worth in. Viv Richards and Richard Hadley.
Richard Hadley.
Hey, does anyone remember how fast was Richard Hadley?
Not very fast.
No.
Are we
It was
talking 135, 140?
Oh,
Yeah,
more
early
like
130s. Oh, I don't think he got to 140s.
Really?
I think he was, yeah.
But
I think it was
a lot
like
more
fast medium.
He was a seamer.
Did you know
Yeah,
that
he was
there
more like Terry Alderman sort of pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was that sort of bowler, like, swing, just guile and that sort of stuff, rather than outpace. No.
But do you realise that he has two brothers that played high-level cricket too? I never knew that.
Richard Hadley.
Yeah. There's a photo I've got on my community page, which I found with these two brothers, and they were both playing first-class cricket.
Yeah, did the other two play Test cricket?
Not Test cricket, but first-class cricket, at least.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's only 12 people live in New Zealand. So you gotta be sure.
No, it has to be 13.
13, okay, scorer as well, maybe.
Yeah.
Couple
So
of
here we are.
had an umpire.
Oliver looks at Shaheen and Freddie best anyone in the world right now. Oh, yeah, he's pretty right. Then we got Munchie, as Hadley was quick enough.
Probably was.
But his ball control was awesome.
That's what
Yeah,
I remember,
okay.
the ball control, not the pace, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, Michael, you've got pretty good ball control, haven't you? And there's also your cricket ability as well.
Yeah, they hang a bit.
Well, Richard Hadley tore Australia apart at the Gabba that in the 80s there, and on a nice green top, and he just, was just too good for him. He got 8 for not many, so he killed us. That.
Well, I saw highlights of a test match that was played at the Wacker, and Mark Taylor was playing, and so was Ian Healy. He was a wicketkeeper, and it was against the West Indies, and the pitch had the biggest cracks in it. That it was a pitch that they deemed unsafe. I don't know if you remember that test match, but Australia got rolled big time.
Yeah.
Like the ball would hit the crack, and they didn't know where it would go.
It was either hitting them in the ankles or going bloody for 4 byes, I think. Yeah,
So
not
Usman
good.
currently must be smoking some sort of joint. George Bailey is the unsung hero of Australian cricket. What
Oh,
position is
come
he
on.
playing?
Ashwin, what's Ashwin taking? Is he on drugs? Is he the little?
Is he-
Is he the
is
kid
he
from
still living
Darwin
in
that's on
Darwin?
drugs still?
Can I say something about George Bailey? I thought he was a better player when he was younger than he was when he into his career. Like I thought he should have played for Australia earlier, but actually not played for Australia when he actually did. Is that a fair assumption?
But that's the case for all our players.
Yeah, a lot of times when they're in, yeah,
Because he was in. I remember him playing cricket. He was the best Tasmanian for a long. Couldn't play for Australia.
yeah. Well, he started in the one day. He got his start in the one days, didn't he? So,
Yes, he did. Yeah.
And he played a handful of test matches. Didn't really
No.
do too well.
didn't
And
set
that's
the
the
world on
problem.
fire.
We don't stick with players.
Oh, I think we
Oh,
do.
we
Some.
do.
Not everyone's got the same leniency as every other
No,
player.
Yeah, unless you're a New South Welshman or a Victorian, otherwise you got no chance.
Well, no, let's be serious. Mitchell Marsh is probably a prime example. He kept, should have been dropped, and then he finally came good in the World Cup.
That's true.
Yeah,
Well, tonight, Delhi Capitals have got Warner and Marsh on deck, haven't they?
Yeah. And
Who do you reckon is going to win that, guys, by the way? Delhi Capitals versus Rajasthan Royals. Now, Joseph should go for Rajasthan.
I'm going for Delhi just to make the top 4 interesting.
Yeah.
Nah, it won't.
it'll be nice if they did, but I can't see it happening. I'd go Rajasthan, the Royals.
Yeah, I can't see it happening either. And
I'll tell you what, Rajasthan, the area is beautiful. It's got Jaipur, Jodhpur, most beautiful castles. Incredible.
Nice
So I'm
curries.
dead serious, guys. We're gonna get the jerseys. We're gonna go to the IPL. We can even, if you're lucky enough or you want to, we might stick in a bit of Australia versus India series there, test series.
I could make
Yeah, some of us actually work more.
Well, that's why I'm telling you in May about something that's happening next year. And if we get sponsors, I mean, we'll get say George will get Chesty Bonds, Michael will get Gay Weekly.
I'll get AIA to sponsor us.
Malacca.
Can you cover that head of yours, bro?
You're like
And Michael will get a Gay Weekly. As long as he does the front cover, he'll get sponsorship.
That's right, Michael. I'll buy the magazine.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, we keep getting asked this question. Do we see Tim Payne coming back into the Australian side? No.
No.
Play on earth. He's too busy chasing skirt. Not his
He's
wife.
got as much chance of playing for Australia as I have of going outside now in front and buying a leg spin, mate. No fucking chance.
What's stopping you going outside and bowling a leg spin? Can you explain it to me? What are you in a wheelchair or something?
It's raining.
It's raining, correct.
Or you don't want to get wet. You don't want to get wet.
Hey, is it bad to say I got no pants on as well?
Well, that would be something to stop everyone letting you
It's just
out.
the usual then.
Yeah, another day.
Your neighbours will get used to that, don't they? There's Michael again, bowling his leg spin in no shorts again.
Playing with balls again.
That's funny.
Butler's score. Munchie reckons Butler's going to score heavily again for RR. There we are.
Yeah, he can
I
bat.
hope so.
He?
He's
what?
been batting well.
I actually, the first time I actually paid attention to the last time he batted, and he didn't make many runs.
He scored 2 centuries in a row, didn't he?
Yeah, I know, but I actually
He has gone a bit down, though.
and I think he made 20 or 30. He got out a couple of days ago.
Well, again, being such a long bloody series, your form's going to go up and down.
Yeah.
It's too hard.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's not a and I guess it's all about consistency, but the problem is it's so long.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much to drop out of form.
And Norm, they're in a bubble, aren't they? In a COVID bubble there. Yeah, so that doesn't help either. It's,
No.
I think
Because COVID's still rife in India. Really rife.
Rife everywhere.
Really bad.
Yeah, it is.
But it's really, really bad.
So Ashwin Kartik he must be drinking. Can
That's
see
what I
us
said.
qualify maybe next year, but not this year.
No. Too far behind.
Even next year they'll be bloody lucky.
Oh, Himanshu Rahel is back, and again he mentions Henry Hunt. Are you having a love affair with Henry Hunt? Every time you talk about Henry Hunt, I haven't even seen him back.
Who is that?
Henry Hunt back, George?
In a one day, I think I saw him. As I said, I think that there's one that plays for South Australia and one plays for Western Australia, and they're good up and coming cricketers. But yeah, he's got a little way to go to get into the Australian Test side.
Whose spot's he going to take right now in the Australian Test side?
No one. No one. He's at least 3 to 5 years away if he bats consistently for South Australia or Western Australia, whichever ones he's batting for, before he's even considered. So he's a long-term project. The Sanger will be next on the line anyway, wouldn't he, Norm?
Yeah, I think so. So, okay, Arun Singh, this is a good point. New Zealand coaching has come to the fore. Australia's actually got Daniel Vittoria as assistant coach now, officially.
Oh,
and,
really?
Yeah, Daniel Vittoria is an official assistant coach to Australia. And then you've got Baz McCullum, who's now firming as the English coach, well, at least for the short form. That's pretty much going to happen.
I think he'll be a really good coach for him.
Well, for the short form, he will be.
Yeah, most definitely.
I don't think I ever saw Vittoria actually spin a ball.
He took 400 wickets, though.
But never spun a ball. Never spun
hit
a
a
ball.
crack once.
Yeah, he was just all about straight line and length at the batsman. There was never turn in whatever he did.
Bit like you.
Well, that's what I thought. You and H were exactly the same.
H, Harry. We need Harry. We need to bag Harry.
H, maybe. You can't talk H and me, chalk and cheese. Come on.
Oh, come on. Harry would hit a rock every now and then and fucking go sideways.
Maybe that.
So who was the better spin bowler, Harry or Michael? Record-wise.
I don't know. Who actually spun the ball? That's the problem.
How can you Malakas know when you're standing at a point or somewhere? You got to stand behind the slips. None of you blokes stood behind the slips. Not in my regime anyhow.
Why would you be in the slips against your bowling, though? For God's sake.
I stood behind the stumps.
Oh, yeah, right. You're probably you said, yeah, but you're a fill-in, and so was he when we were desperate. Sonny Pasaris.
Hey, I spent a good couple of years behind the stumps before bloody whatchamacallit turned up. Powdy,
I'm happy to critique every single player here if you want me to, but I won't. I'm happy to start with the first left.
Look, I'm happy for you to.
I like Amar Garathi. He says a picture of Sachin with me. Oh, mate, with a nice sunset over there in Double Bay. Not Double Bay, Watson's Bay. Yeah, it was a very nice moment. I met him through a guy called Brett Head, who is now on the run. He owes everybody money. He's a bugger. All right. Now, back to the IPL. We've got to go back to the IPL, guys. And we've got, as we said, Delhi Capitals playing Rajasthan Royals in the 58th match. There are only 70 matches until we're getting somewhat closer. Realistically, Sunrise and Hyderabad, my God, they're a shocker. They had 5 wins and they've had 4 losses. They're on the way out. So really, it's going to be Gujarat, Lucknow, Rajasthan, and either RCB or probably Delhi. Correct?
If Delhi win tonight.
Yeah, if Delhi lose tonight, that's curtains for me.
I would like to see Delhi because a bit more of Australian influence, I guess.
Yeah.
It's funny though, 2020 cricket, does form mean anything really? Because of the short format? But I don't know. Like, you could be that top side. I think it's lost 1 game. They could go into the first semi and lose, right?
Yeah, that's right.
They could.
Easily.
Well, it's happened.
Yeah. So
happens in the BBL all the time, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, that's right. It happened in the BBL, just gone.
Yeah, the best side all year doesn't seem to get in the grand final.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And then you get the team that finished 4th and they'll scrape in.
2 good games with it.
Yeah.
Well, they've been playing finals the whole time to scrape into that final spot. So they're used to playing under that pressure, where the other players have been, we're in the finals, we'll just, hit and giggle and not worry about it too much. Then when the pressure's on, the team that's been playing finals all the time beats them. Happens all the time.
In a big match, Ashwin, I reckon a player in form beats a big name player any day.
Who's a big name player though?
Well,
hang on, what about Kohli versus, I don't know, a big name player? Do you drop Kohli for someone else?
Well, that's a good question, actually, because RCB are really been tossing and turning about whether they have Kohli in the side because you've got a few ducks lately. So
yeah.
But in those in the big games, you want your big players because they can handle the pressure. That's the reason they've become big players is because they've handled the big pressure situation. So, they don't become big name players for no reason. Just they've shown over a long period of time that they can handle that pressure. So, in those big games, I would take a big name player anytime over a player that's in form.
So here's an example. Norm scores his highest ever score of 10 versus a big name player. What do you do? Who do you choose? Easy one, yeah?
Well, Anastasia gets out for 4. Certainly was the wrong decision.
Well, I'll tell you what. There'd be one player that would be the first name on my list every time, and that would be MS Dhoni.
Yeah,
as far as his captaincy, certainly.
That's fair.
No, but not even as captaincy, as a big name player. When you need runs, he'll go out and get them.
There's got to be, in most sides, there's got to be 1 or 2 guys, no matter what form means, you've got to pick those 2 guys in your side every game.
Well, the best example now really is Mumbai. I mean, Mumbai are out, but Kieran Pollard, who's been a noted big name for them for years, is not playing well, and Tim David is. And that was the quandary that Mumbai have, whether to keep Pollard on, because he's a legend there, or bring Tim David, who's in absolute form.
Yeah,
who would you pick between those 2?
See, I'd bring in, I would drop Pollard.
But haven't you got one guy, his end of his career, who's probably, how many more years has Pollard got to a guy that's probably up and coming and is probably going to be the future of the side? Like, even with Kohli, you can't say Kohli's at the end of his career. He's probably 3/4 through, but Pollard's probably at last or second last BBL, you would think.
Yeah, IPL,
So, IPL. So you would think that, Davies, you would think Davies should be the future for that side. You would have thought.
And plus, they're losing, so they might as well blood all their young kids and give them a go and see how they can handle the pressure. Like, they're not going to make the finals. That's a certainty. So, give all the other, fringe players a go and see how they handle it. You might find a gem there, or they might all be rocks. Start again. Well, they get rid of all their players anyway, and they start again next year. So, big deal.
Can I ask you a question about the IPL and the size of the grounds? The grounds look
Small.
Reasonably big. No, I was going to say reasonably big. Or is that? Does it?
Actually, they are big. Brabourne Stadium, which they play the games there, is huge. I've played on that. That's massive.
Is it as big as the
Wonka is also-
MCG? Is it MCG? Like it looks on the field. It looks massive.
It is. It
You're
is.
watching.
The stands are not, but the ground certainly is big.
Yeah. Okay.
They're not small.
No.
A lot of it.
The one that holds 120, 140,000 people. They can have the final there. It's a brand new stadium. That is massive. Have you seen that?
Remember, I know it's not the IPL. When we went to Sri Lanka, I never thought Gore was a big ground, and I never thought the one that we played.
Pallakali.
Yes, I don't think that was a big ground either, mate. And I know they're test grounds. They didn't look big from the middle to the field, did they? To the outfield.
No, the Pallakali, we didn't have stands, so it was a bit of a difficult one to judge. But it was completely flat. Remember, it was all
it
under
wasn't the
construction.
stand. But Gore wasn't a big. Gore was a test plane. That wasn't a big ground.
No.
No, they're not big grounds, but then you also have to remember too that in big moments, like in pressure situations, when you got, I don't know, 40, 50, 60,000 people standing around there throwing banana skins at you, it starts to become a bit of a big ground.
Man, I don't know. I don't look at the MCG and I go, that's big.
Well, it's the stands which make it also look bigger, of course.
Mm.
I mean, Gore, remember that statue we saw at the back where the tsunami hit? Remember, oh, Jesus. Imagine if we were there then. Oh, God.
Oh,
Would
yeah.
have been-
Well, going back to the size of grounds, the MCG and the Gabba have got the same. The field is the same size. So, but you think the MCG is a lot bigger because of the stands and that sort of stuff, where the Gabba is all more enclosed, so it feels smaller. But the actual field size is the same as the Gabba and the MCG.
There was a game that we played. I don't know when we were playing. I think for Saints, we played at Kingston.
Yeah.
Was it down at Kingston? Do you remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And that there was huge.
Yep.
That field
Because-
was absolutely massive.
Depends on what.
Did I play there?
No, I don't think you played
No.
that game.
Where?
Paulie still was the captain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, down at Kingston near the butter factory there.
Yeah.
It's on the roundabout there. It's huge, but it depends on what they need to do. They bring their cones in or out depending on if they need to score more or score less. They're
But
fuckers
I
out
remember
there.
that day we fielded the first innings,
Mm,
and we had 11 players, and it seemed like we couldn't plug any gaps.
yeah.
Was
But
Norm
Munchie's
bowling?
trying to be funny here, guys.
Was Norm bowling?
Probably.
Munchie's trying to be funny. Brabourne Stadium is that big that Norman went out to bat just after lunch when he shoots the wicket of his tea. That's not
funny.
funny. I'll get you that, Munchie. I'm going to get you that, Munchie.
Actually, it'd be a fucking long walk for Norm there and back for one
Oh,
ball.
shut up with that me and my bloody walking around. Jesus. Okay, IPL dominating world cricket, best cricket league for a reason. He's not wrong. It is money-wise. That's one of the biggest reasons.
But it's the money that makes it.
Yeah,
Take
that's
that
it.
money away, then you got no competition.
Just all I ask is, can we fill the stadiums, please? It looks bad on TV. If it's that great, fill the stadiums.
Well, but they can't because of COVID.
Yeah, but they look like 100 people in some of the games.
But once again, it's because of COVID.
100 people? Don't these stadiums hold heaps of people?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they're not allowed out,
They do.
it's hard to fill the stadium if you can't move around.
Ashwin Karthik, who was dead set drinking, Washington Sundar named his dog as Gabba. This is a disgraceful act. What, for the dog or for the ground? Where
That's
does,
nice.
Where does Ashwin Karthik come up with these comments? I don't know.
Is he still in Darwin? Ask him.
Huh?
He's probably still studying for that test.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Himanshu Ben McDermott is better than Samson. He is a match winner. All right, here we go. Oliver Lookins and Himanshu, they got a love affair with Ben McDermott and Henry Hunt.
It's true. Let's be serious. We spoke about Ben McDermott last week. He should be in that Australian side.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's not on that.
Yeah, definitely.
George Bailey's got a lot of things to answer for.
But like he's another one. He's like Cameron Green. He's an up and comer. He's a guy that's got a bit of talent. Why wouldn't you pick him?
Yeah.
Pick him in the one days. Fuck 2020s. Like, really? What are they playing for down there?
Like,
Doesn't it?
You're
I
not
don't know.
playing for Temples.
Well, you got Finch in the side. Jesus, how can you take Finch in the side? Like, come on.
Oh, he's a World Cup winner.
But look, that just goes to show at the end of the day that what our 2020 World Cup team is going to look like.
Yeah, shit.
It's not that far
So
away.
there you go,
It's already made.
Do you reckon Finch is going to be in the World Cup side?
Yeah,
He'll still
Unfortunately.
I reckon he will be.
He won a World Cup last year. He has to be given the right to defend it.
Why?
No, everyone has his day, mate. He's had his day.
He should have taken that trophy and just walked away because he's not going to do it ever again.
That's what I would have done. I would have retired on a high, rather than now retire as a disgrace.
I don't know. Disgrace is a bit much, but
He can't hit the ball off the square.
Look, got to be harsh, mate. Got to be cruel to be kind.
But I think we're harsh but fair. Harsh but fair.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's a World Cup winner.
well, he is. You can't take that away from him. He called the right way, so
Yeah,
but
he just got lucky.
he got one thing right.
He got lucky.
Yeah,
More than what you got right, George.
It was a double-headed coin.
I'm still sad in some ways because Glenn Maxwell, we haven't seen the absolute best of him. I reckon if he played out of his skin, he would be the world's best at the moment. If you're really at his level, at his absolute best, he's magic.
Did you
just
watch
not
him
consistent enough.
But that's that's a problem. He's not consistent enough.
but you know why? You know why? Because when he plays a different shot that no one else can play and he gets out, we go, oh. But when he plays that shot and it goes for 6, we're all going, wow, what a shot. Like, you got to give the good and the bad. Like, Maxwell's the first guy that I would pick in that Australian side because he can bat, he can field, and he can bowl. Name me anyone in that side who can do all 3. Not
That's
many.
true.
Apart from you.
Terranova.
Well, yeah, but that's very hard and far between, mate.
Michael, hang on. You said bat and bowl and field. Michael Field was it?
Well, he felt, he didn't drop too many in bloody slips. But then again, there was only 1 or 2 a season. He had Harry bowling at the other end, as if Harry's going to get any bloody thing to bloody go to first slip.
That's all right.
I guess we should remember we did win a comp at Callumville Oval, didn't we?
Remember
when we won the grand final, we bowled Cookie for 1 over and then we pulled him off?
Because he put a big dip in the pitch.
I remember, I tell you this, I don't know if I wish Harry was here because you know what happened? I'll tell you the story. I'm fielding at slip, Harry's fielding at cover, and the ball flies past me in the boundary. And I go to Harry, he's off. And Harry looks at me and goes, "You only bowled 1 ball." Next over, I think I put Nish on or Harry on from the other end, didn't I?
Yeah, he only had the 1 over.
But
Yeah.
He did take a great catch though.
Yes,
Great catch out the deep.
Yeah, that was a funny one.
That's what they say, mate. Catches win matches.
That's right.
Don't worry about the 30 he went for in his first over.
I think it was only 4 runs, but it flew.
I was a great catch.
For who?
I'm talking about me. I was a great.
For who? Who were you a great catch for?
Look, I've got many people.
Hang on. Do you remember Trotter?
Ashwin
was fielding at square leg, and he hurt his shoulder. We thought he had a packet of chips in his pocket. And the ball went past. He didn't get to catch it. And we gave him heaps going, why didn't you catch it? What do you stop eating your chips in your pocket, man? And he goes, I hurt my shoulder.
Hey, what about that, Malak? What about who was the guy that caught the ball in between his legs one game? Who was that? Remember?
Was that Rod Nuttall?
That was in the semi-final, wasn't it?
Nah, that was who was the president before you?
Yes,
Norm?
the tall, skinny one, wasn't it?
Jesus, I've got his name. He got really cranky, wasn't he, in the end?
Yeah.
He had a
Him and his son, but yeah, he fell over, he kicked it up, and he caught it.
He caught it. Oh, yeah.
I forgot his name. What was his name? Kretschmann.
Kretschmann. Yeah. That's all.
Neville.
Yeah, that's right. Because it was Nev's son that had a bung shoulder.
No.
Yeah, I remember that. That was funny. That
was a good catch.
Yeah.
Very
we all got excited, I remember.
we couldn't, unless you were there, you wouldn't believe it.
No. And he says, Australia's World Cup winning captains, Alan Border, War, Ponting, again twice, Clark, Finch. Pretty large number of people there, I'd say.
And out of all of those, who would you say was the best?
Ricky Ponting.
For one day, then yeah. Or 2020.
So out of all those World Cup winning captains, you
so Aaron Finch will definitely be captaining, won't he?
I reckon Alan Border.
Nah, you'd have to go. I'm with Ponting for that sort of.
Who did Alan Border, was it against England, the World Cup? Who was Alan Border's one against?
No, it wasn't against
West Indies.
West Indies.
He won 2.
No, Alan Border won 1.
Alan Border won 1, yeah.
Was it West Indies or England?
I thought it was West Indies.
So that would have been against a very good West Indian side then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in their heyday.
That would probably be a harder World Cup to win than probably the others. You would have thought, I don't.
Especially Finch's.
Look, at the end of the day, the teams make a big difference, and Ricky Ponting had some.
He had good players.
Very good players at his disposal.
Yeah.
Alan Border didn't have the same quality, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
Oh, he had Bernie.
Mate, you'd win the World Cup and you'd score 200 runs, you win the World Cup, don't you? Now you've got to score 200.
Yeah, back then,
that's right. Border was there.
It was England, 1987.
Hey, 87 World Cup. Guess who? Yeah. Guess here's a trivia question for you. Who won the NRL Grand Final in the 87? It was the last game at the SCG, last Grand Final. Who was it?
Manly.
Thank you very much.
Next year,
who would remember anything Manly does?
And the Broncos gave Manly a touch-up in the first
game.
Let's
talk about the 87 Grand Final. Who scored a try? Who scored a try? Who's my favourite Manly player? You guys should all know that. Yes.
Now, I went to hospital a week, and my mother went in the hospital, and in the next bed was a lady there as well, and she was next to it was a man there called Jeff Carr. Jeff Carr was on the wing for St George when South beat them in 1971, and we had a good chat. He was also the chairman or CEO of St George in the NRL, in New South Wales NRL. Yeah. And he was also he's the chairman of the Bondi Icebergs as well. We had a good chat.
Okay.
And I didn't realise he'd actually played that 71 grand final when South won. He was only 19.
South won.
South won. Oh, well, who cares?
Which hospital was it, St George?
Who cares?
I mean, South won. When was the last time Manly won?
40-0, mate, wasn't it? Or get that one?
What year?
No, but I remember the record. Isn't it 40-0?
Yeah, by the way, we've won more recently, South.
Hey, Giuseppe, hang on. Who's Giuseppe's side? Who are you, Broncos? You're Broncos, okay.
Well, you live in Grafton and you go for the Broncos?
Well, we've never always lived in
Whoa. First and foremost, I'm a Queenslander, okay?
That's right.
Don't ever forget it. and I come from just outside of Cairns.
You come from Woolgoolga like fucking English, huh?
I come from Mareeba, and
Mariba.
I come from the heart of Queensland.
Hang on, where's Mariba again? Where's Mariba?
That's out of
Just outside
Cairns.
Drug country.
Cairns. Okay.
Yeah, Cairns. In the early 80s, we were the marijuana capital.
That explains
No
a lot.
Drug
cowboys
country.
back then.
They have tobacco and drugs up there.
Yeah, look, we were tobacco farmers. I was a tobacco farmer.
Mm.
And
I've
all
been
I
to
can say
Mareeba.
is, you're welcome.
Good job.
All right, so Arun Singh says Mareeba is nice. He loves it. Arun Singh, who I thought was from India, is actually from North Queensland. Now, Subhash Chandra Bharat, why are we picking our favourite tennis player on a cricket show? What the hell?
Oh, look, that's easy. Pat Rafter.
Ash Barty.
Ash Barty, I go with. That's just so everyone knows. This is the first time I agree with Norm. Ash Barty.
What was the question?
She played cricket for bloody the Brisbane Eagles too.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah.
Now she's turned pro golf.
Amazing.
Will she be any? Is she any good at golf? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good.
She
Right.
is.
Well, her boyfriend's a pro golfer.
And he's a Liverpool supporter.
Loser.
Oh, what does that make? What does that? Why is that important?
It's always important, Norm. Always important. Don't ever forget it.
I used to like West Ham.
You're a dreamer, George. You are.
Can you stop rubbing your nipple, bro? Seriously.
What is this thing? What are you trying to arouse someone?
What's this? It's not an X-rated show, mate.
Isn't it? Oh, we PG.
Fuck,
It wouldn't be PG with you touching your breast, I'll tell you that.
Well, at least I haven't got my balls out.
Oh, God.
Oh, hang on. I got my nuts.
Where's your nuts?
Nibble Nobby's nuts.
They're macadamia nuts, mate.
I've got a
Are
small
they from
crystal,
Mareeba as well?
small
They're
crystal ball.
Queensland nuts.
In my crystal ball, I see Harry pissed as a fart.
Where is H?
I think he's I think you're gonna have to rename it 2 Italians, 1 Greek, and 1 German.
No,
No, he'll come back on. He'll make his appearances.
you
He'll
know,
make guest appearances.
because he won't be watching this. You know what he said to me today? He goes basically, "Fuck them. I'm on holidays. I'm drinking." That's what he
He's
said.
always
To me.
on the holidays.
I got it here in black and white.
You should show us.
My English Premier League team is West Ham.
West Ham.
West
Yeah.
Ham.
I like Ham, so West Ham. Oliver Lutkins just put Bumrah versus Pat Cummins. Well, really, Bumrah. I mean, Bumrah for bowling, but Cummins maybe a bit of an all-rounder these days.
Can I say, I think Bumrah's
Yeah,
actually
read that.
is a little bit
Goes,
suspect.
"Tell the cunt I'm on holidays.
No.
Tell the
Oh,
cunts
God.
I'm on holidays." That's what he said.
This does not work.
Anyhow, he uses bad language. That bloke. Bad language.
His first word on television on this show was F.
Yes, it was.
Bubba is up, or Coley, I reckon Bubba's up. Munchie,
Barbara's
the first thing, Munchie, we spoke about today was grain thought. Was the very first thing I mentioned, wasn't it?
Yeah, Munchie.
Yeah.
What was it? What seriously in hospital? Is it a heart attack or what is it? Munchie, can you tell us? Give us a bit of a brief.
Is
Munchie, do you want to
Munchie
come
is
on?
he?
I should let
Yeah.
Munchie, you want to come on for 5 minutes? Munchie, I'll send you a link. Sorry, I missed that. What did you miss? Miss what? What happened?
He
to
missed the
Grant?
start of the show.
We missed the start.
Let's go through some of these comments, Norm. I've got a couple of.
Which one?
There's no way Cameron Bancroft's coming back to the Australian
Oh,
side.
he was shit anyway.
Nah.
He was crap anyway.
No.
And who holds a bat like he holds a bat? Seriously,
Yeah.
how do they learn these guys to hold a bat like that?
Juniors.
Oliver Lutkins has this thing about Bumrah and Cummins, and he's saying Cummins is better than Bumrah. Again, you're not support your own players. Oliver, give me a break. All that means not supporting my own players. Jesus, I can have an opinion.
But hang on. Getting back to Bumrah, is his action suspect?
Oh,
Indians don't chuck. Indians don't chuck.
Anastasia's just suspect all round.
Indians don't chuck, do they? No way.
no,
Well,
never.
No.
you know, like you look at the way he bowls and you just go, something's wrong with that.
Especially his quick one. His real quick one. But
You look at Pat Cummins and you look at Bumrah. I reckon Bumrah on his day, if they're at their best, Bumrah is better than Pat Cummins, but Pat Cummins is more consistent than Bumrah.
yeah,
Yeah, most definitely.
Pat Cummins doesn't move the ball much, does he?
No, but he's at you 24/7.
Yeah.
he's a bit like Glenn McGrath in that sense. Like he's not quite as efficient as Glenn McGrath was, but that's him. He's tall. He uses the pitch to get that movement.
Yeah.
He's not a swing bowler or anything like that. He's just line and length, and he'll bore you to death.
And I reckon Bumrah. Sorry, Giuseppe, you go.
Is lethal.
Yeah, Bumrah is lethal. Bumrah on his day is lethal.
Yeah.
He
I
would break
reckon
your thumb for sure, Norm. He would break your thumb for sure, Bumrah.
I'm breaking back with my big shots. Thank you. I'd cut him to the boundary.
Yeah. Close your eyes and hope for the best.
What do you reckon? Okay, I want your opinion about Damien Fleming. I find him annoying.
Explain his trigger action.
His trigger action, what's he mean by that?
Like,
Oh, Bumrah's. Yeah, I've not seen that. I've not seen that interview.
Every bowler, like a batsman, has a trigger, right? Let's be serious. When you guys, okay, we're all batsmen, most of us, except for Norman. We're all batsmen, right? Give or take.
Give or take.
As a batsman, you know, my first movement was slightly across, right? Bowlers are the same. Sometimes their first movement is a quick step to the left, quick step to the right, or they walk into their first step. I don't know. I haven't seen I'm trying to picture what Bumrah's trigger is in regards to what makes him go bang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't had a really good
he's got an incredibly whippy last stride. He really whips it.
And
He's only got a short. He's got a shortest run up, hasn't he? So he hasn't got like that Michael Holding run up. So it's all in that last couple of strides.
You know, it reminds me of like a Wazim Akram off like 10 paces. You just boom, boom, done.
And do you reckon that at some stage in his earlier childhood he's broken or torn a ligament or something, which is then it's tightened up and which has given him that real sort of catapult action?
The way he bowls.
I've heard a story. He used to bowl in the corridors at home. Is that right? And that's the only way he could bowl. Is that a fair income story? I'm not sure.
Never heard that. I haven't heard that.
But would make sense. They don't have big homes. They'd have to.
That's what I'm saying. So you have to have a swing in action with a different type of movement.
Mom, you spent a lot of time in the closet. What was it like when you were bowling in the closet?
People might believe you, Norm. You start talking like that, people might believe you.
Wow.
He's doing a Boris Becker.
Oh, God. What a mess. What a mess.
Yeah, he doesn't like corned beef.
Boris Becker.
Don't go to jail.
That's, not real good.
I feel sorry for him. Yeah.
No, he's only got himself to blame.
Arun Singh is okay. We've got Brad Hogg's got not Brad Hogg. So Brad Hogg. The spinner's got a YouTube channel show. I've been on it with him. He's a pretty cool guy. And he's had
as good as ours.
Damien Fleming seems like a real idiot. I'm sorry.
Have you met him?
Yeah, he's quite a bit painful.
Well, you've
Just
met
grab
him.
hog
If he met Michael, me, or Giuseppe, he'd probably be a bit different.
Maybe.
Oh, it's because of me that he's like that. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
You pull whatever strings you want out of that bow.
Jealousy's a curse. Jealousy's a curse. Yeah, Cameron Green certainly has the potential. I don't think he's quite reached it yet, but he certainly has got the potential. Do you think he's going to become a legend?
No. Can I say something about Pat Cummins? Pat Cummins.
Yeah, go.
I don't care whatever happened, but what he did to the previous captain, I really don't care what he says anymore, or the coach. I don't really care what he says half the time. To be honest with you, he's just worried about bowling, catching the side, because what he did to the coach, and I've looked at Justin Langer, one of the best opening batsmen Australia's ever had. He should have showed some more respect than what he did to Justin Langer.
Yeah, I agree.
I
totally agree.
Yes and no, because you don't know what's happening in the dressing rooms. Is Pat Cummins could just be the spokesperson because he's the captain of whatever other players are saying.
But he wasn't the spokesman. But he wasn't the spokesman when they got rid of him. But he was happy to endorse the other coach. So where was he?
I know, but it's that thing, isn't it? Where there's one coach and 13 players, and if the players all say no, we don't want him for whatever reasons happening in the if I'm the coach or the captain and I can't work with that coach, well, you're going to tell the ACB, look, guys, I don't think he's the right fit for me as captain, and can we look at the next guy? And we work well together. So that's going to mean the team's more harmonious and can work better together. But we're not in that dressing room to know for sure. But I dare say that they weren't happy with the way Langer, was a bit of a tyrant and wanted things done his way. Whereas the next guy, he's going to have to toe the players' line a bit better because he wants to keep his job.
But why didn't Cricket Australia have the kahunas and whatever just to say how it all is? Instead of talking at the moment, everyone talks BS political correctness crap. Like
the ACB's never done anything correctly.
You know who looks the worst here? Pat Cummins looks as everyone's saying the same thing I'm saying. Pat Cummins was in the wrong. Now, he might have been in the right, but he's actually the one that's portrayed as doing it wrong.
But but you got to remember too that professional sport, everywhere you go, it's the voice that always wins, and it's and this is the thing that annoys me the most is okay, like what George said. If there's things that would happen in the background that we would never ever know about unless someone would actually come out and say it in the media. Yeah. But it's always been a player has a lot of voice against the coach no matter what, and the players will always predominantly in I reckon in a cricket environment, because cricket is a little bit different to say rugby league or football or whatever, but in the cricketing environment, the players will always have the most say, and the board will always listen to them because they're the ones that go at the end of the day will go out in the field and do all that work, and they're our national team, so they're the best of our best. All right, so you have to make sure that they're happy. But I disagree with how it all went about, and I think Cricket Australia should have done better and maybe look to reform or make changes so that way, Langer, for me, Langer was one of the best coaches that we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that they did wrong by him.
Easier to get rid of one person than change 13.
That's exactly right. Exactly.
But Andrew McDonald took it over for that World Cup. He basically ran the team, and Langer sat back, and they did change their fortunes. McDonald's has been the players' whisperer for a while there. They've all liked him, and that's why he's now the coach. He's got
Well, of
5
course they're going to like. Of course they're going to like him because Langer had a big stick and hitting everyone with it, and then he's just coming on saying it's all right, mate. We'll do this. Do this, do that. He was the good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
Langer was a bad cop.
That's true.
It's always the shit players end up being the better coaches, eh?
Well, it's not that Langer was a bad coach. He's just the way he went about things.
I don't rate McDonald as anything special.
No. I don't
Who was
think,
the best Australian coach in your opinion over the last?
Simpson.
Yeah,
for sure.
Bobby Simpson.
But you have to remember too that in the 90s, when Buchanan was coach, it was the players' revolt that got him sacked.
Yep. And Warney never liked him.
No.
Shane Watson.
Warney didn't like him because Buchanan was big on fitness. And Warney never liked to get fit, didn't want to run.
Yeah.
That's why. But it was a players' revolt that got him sacked.
And he was he brought in all the computer stuff and that sort of stuff as well. He was sort of brought all that into it as well. So he
changed the face of cricket for Australia.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, I'm going to rattle off some games. I want you to tell me quick fire results. Tonight, Rajasthan Royals versus Delhi Capitals. George, go.
Royals.
Delhi.
I'm going to say Delhi as well. Chennai Super Kings versus Mumbai Indians. Who cares? Both teams are out.
Draw.
I get Chennai.
Super over, still a draw.
Okay, so RCB versus Punjab Kings. Important for Punjab Kings.
Nah, they're gone. RCB.
Yeah, I think RCB.
Punjab Kings aren't going to make it.
It was your team.
Yeah, but I'm not silly.
He's a realist.
Kolkata Knight Riders versus Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Sunrisers.
It doesn't matter either, does it?
No, not really.
Kolkata, I reckon. Chennai Super Kings versus Gujarat Titans now. 1 versus second last.
Tigers. There's a Tigers? Yeah, Gujarat Tigers.
I go Super Kings.
Really?
Oh, upset.
Because you love Amy Stoney.
If you're one of the top sides, you've got 3 games to go, give or take. Do you want to lose one now? Probably.
Yeah,
but they lost. They only lost one last week. My Lucknow Giants beat them, but then they got flogged the other day against them. So they have lost one recently.
But the thing is now's the time where you don't want to lose. Now's the time where you want to start form.
There's probably 2 or 3 games. Yeah.
All right, and then on Monday or Sunday night, Lucknow Super Giants versus Rajasthan Royals. That's a big game because they're second and third, aren't they, at the moment? So
third and fourth. Yeah,
that's probably a semi-final, mate. That could be a semi-final.
Well, yeah.
I go Royals.
Lucknow for sure.
Royals, mate.
And I mean, we got
Royal.
Can we be Delhi? I'm gonna go on the Delhi bandwagon to make the 4. There's my tip. If anyone can sweep into the 4, I would like Delhi to make it 4. Just gives a few more Aussie players.
Yeah. And then Mumbai plays Sunrisers. Who cares? KKR play Lucknow. That's their Lucknow victory. This is a game. RCB versus Gujarat Titans. Very important to Royal Challengers Bangalore. Not so much Gujarat.
I reckon Gujarat.
I mean, RCB have been well served by Duplessis. He's been the glue, hasn't he, really?
Yeah, he's the one that, him and lately Hazelwood. Hazelwood with the ball and Duplessis at the back.
And you talk about a big name player, Hazelwood was struggling, right? Early on in the season,
he struggled the last game.
But he seems like he's coming back slowly. Okay, take the last game out, but he was struggling early on.
Yeah. Look, he's been their pick of the bowlers.
Yeah.
Generally. They all like it's so easy to get flogged, like a bowler to get a flogging every now and then. All you got to do is off by a couple of inches, and you're too short, and you're in the bloody
Over the fence.
over the fence sort of thing. So
Yeah.
it's for a bowler, it's bloody 4 overs. Like you get one wrong, and you've gone for 40 runs, and you're going bloody hell, one bad over in 3 games, and you look like shit. So yeah, it's a tough gig.
It is. You know, the batsman. It's a game for the bat, not for the ball.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, by next Wednesday, which will be our next gig, we'll have already seen 64 matches with only a handful left. So we'll pretty much know by next week who the top 4 is, I reckon.
And really, looking at that, it's only DC and SRH has got a chance. Everyone else can go and please themselves.
Yeah, look, I think the way the 4 is now is how it will stay.
Yeah, I'm with Giuseppe. I believe that. The 4 that's now, I can't see it changing.
Yeah, I can't.
If Delhi lose tonight, that's it for them, I reckon.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I know Michael has to go in a few minutes, so we've had a great session yet again. A lot of great questions from Munchie and from Ramarani and from Arun Singh and Kimon Sharell. There's been our usual guys here. Great to have on. Hopefully next week Harry's here, and I'm going to try and bring a guest on. I'm going to have a surprise guest. I'm not going to say who it is.
Stripper?
A former player, not a Brisbane Saints. A former player who played real cricket.
What are you trying to say?
What, we didn't play real cricket.
Won't be Michael on the stage. It's 2:40 not out. Oh, God. Also better than that.
Hey, can we just hold that back a second? My 240 in one game was nearly your career's total of runs, mate.
That's not true at all. I counted mine well over 1,000.
What do you reckon? Pretty close, yeah?
Yeah, look, I can't talk. I scored 100 over in Sri Lanka.
That's nearly more than normal scored.
Female guest, but we've already got one there, Michael Anastasia, in drag there.
Hey, boys, don't laugh at him because he's not funny.
All right, okay. All right, guys, that was a great show yet again. Episode 5, guys. Always wonderful. Hopefully Harry comes next week, but I enjoyed this. You guys have got a lot of great things to talk about. Our guests like it. Our supporters, our viewers. Now, Aaron Singh wants to bring Aaron Holland. Well, Ben Cully might have something to say about that, but Melinda Farrell, I actually know. I'll see whether she comes on. I'll get her. All right, guys. I want to thank you all again. This has been great. Episode 5 of The Gig, as we're calling it. 2 Greeks, 2 Italians, and a German, or thereabouts. We'll enjoy this yet again. Thanks, guys, tremendously. I will now sign off. Good night to Giuseppe, Michael, Babs, and Doofus George.
Good night.
Thanks,
Good night, everyone.
All right. I'll get rid of this. Hang on. How do I get rid of this? I've just swapped you around. End. If I end it, though, it'll be. Okay, I'll end it. All right.